It's Tim Albright with AVNation with a road to InfoComm 2023. InfoComm happens the 14th through the 16th of June. And with me from Control Concepts is Brittany DeCesare and Steve Greenblatt. Welcome, the two of you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Steve, we're going to start with you on this. You don't have a booth, right? So typically we would say, oh, go to booth, XYZ and go see Steve and Brittany. But the thing that makes Control Concepts a little bit unique and different, and yes, I'm 100% biased because I've known Steve for a long time. Let's just say that back when I was a horrible programmer, Steve was on the phone with me as I was crying. You guys have really evolved from an independent programming house to now you are software developers, right? Helping vendors, helping companies really, lean into the software AV side. Talk for a second about what you guys are going to be doing at InfoComm and how you're able to help manufacturers.
So InfoComm's a little bit different for us than many in that, yes, it's important for us to walk the floor and see the technology, but it's really most valuable for us to talk to the people. And we want to go there to see our friends and be able to help to let people know what we're up to. So what's different about us this year, and it's really been a long transition, is that we're really trying to establish a new identity in the industry as really a niche within independent programmers, and that's as an AV software developer, as you mentioned. And what that means is that while we could program a whole project and do be the lead to make user interface and the back end code and work with the client, what we really have found is that our skills are best suited to building the components that allow other programmers to be successful. And if we drill down on that, what we focus on is working with manufacturers that have complex products with a very detailed API that a programmer really doesn't have the time to sit and digest and to make work for a particular project. So instead, they work with a company like ours, and we build them modules, drivers, plugins that allow them to make their products easily compatible with the major control platforms in the industry.
All right, Brittany, as you're walking around the show floor, when you talk to folks, and one of the things you guys did here recently at ISE was you talked with QSC, did an interview as well about their program. Talk for a second about the power that not only the vendors have, but like folks like Control Concept have to really kind of push this forward and help the end users leverage not just the network, but the software power behind some of these products.
At ISE, a big theme was interoperability, and we're understanding now that products, regardless of the manufacturer, they need to work together. And in order to do that, you've got to make it simpler on the programming side. And having an API just isn't good enough anymore. And we have to take that from this high-level API with so much detail. We have to be able to give those building blocks to the programmers so they can just plug things in, so they can just easily push things together and make them work. And so being able to focus in on interoperability and say, you want to be a part of these platforms' ecosystems. If you're not there, the likelihood is you're missing out on eyes on your products. You're missing out on the potential for even higher sales for your products, because independent programmers and integrators aren't seeing your name listed in these platforms' ecosystems. So they just assume, oh, it doesn't work with X, Y, or Z. So you want to be there. And in order to be there, you need to have these modules, drivers, or plugins. And that's why, we exist, is to be able to help manufacturers exist in the ecosystems. And we get to help our fellow programmers and support them in the field too.
Well, Steve, one thing that you've been an adamant promoter of is, other programmers as well for the 30 years you've been in the industry. Talk for a second about that move and how today's programmer is not necessarily just an independent programmer for a single siloed control system, but really they're a developer.
There's a lot of pressure actually on programmers, and as much as the industry wants to talk about the fact that more products don't require programming, programmers have a very vital role, and we talk about this a lot on the State of Control podcast, and in that the the programmer really has to be able to adapt to different situations and whatever products and languages and technology is thrown at them. And really, they're kind of the chef that makes all the ingredients work together. And really, not only do they have to make it work together, they have to make it work to the preferences of the user and the client. And that's a tough role to be in. And a lot of times, too, programmers are put under the gun because they're the end of the line. We know that budgets are tighter and time frames have been shortened, and there really isn't a lot of time and a lot of margin for error. So what we try to do is help to develop tools that maybe programmers just don't have the time to work on because they're busy doing projects. And if they can enlist our services, or we do some things that are free that we offer, it just allows them to be so much more effective and focus on what they do, and we can contribute to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Brittany, if somebody wants to connect with you beforehand, schedule time with you, make sure that you come by their booth so they can talk to you about this, how do they do that?
So you can reach out to me via email. It's brittanyD@controlconcepts.net, and I'd be happy to set up time with you at the show. We love to jam-pack our schedule. While we're there, we bring a team with us, so make sure you reserve your time so we can make sure to connect.
All right. And Mr. Greenblatt, if somebody wants to connect with you or Control Concepts, how do they do that?
For me, my email address, steveg@controlconcepts.net, but follow our socials. We really try to keep the industry informed of what we're doing, where we're going to be. Because we don't have a landing spot, we try to let people know what are the events that we're going to be at. You could follow our company at CCI Control on Twitter. You could find us on LinkedIn. You could find me on social at Steve Greenblatt.
All right, very good. We'll see them both at InfoComm as well as AVNation. For us, for AVNation, go by our website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. You'll also find Steve's State of Control podcast there. And it's very possible that I know you're going to see Brittany at one of our events. We'll see if we can get Steve there as well. But all that and more at avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.